Welcome back to Levine in the Morning. My name is Rick Levine, and I have the esteemed pleasure of talking with Steve Tatone of Midnight Pass Productions. Steve, welcome to Levine in the Morning.
Good morning. Glad to be here. Thanks.
Now, I know you're in the productions of movies, films. How did you get involved with that?
I've always wanted to scratch this itch of independent filmmaking for some years. I spent a long time in television back in my Ohio days, and 25 years as an independent concert promoter, presenting lots of great artists. But all along, I've been working on script ideas and things. So for the last 5 years, I kind of burned the ships in the harbor and devoted my career full time to filmmaking. And things are starting to pop right now with some great projects.
Now, you're involved with this Beautiful Noise Live. What is that?
Well, that Beautiful Noise Live is the concert tour that we put together in support of our independent feature film, a musical drama. We're very proud to announce that we'll be showcased 6 times at the Sarasota Film Festival, starting with our world premiere on April 9th. So the concert gives folks a chance, especially here in our hometown where the film was shot entirely on location, gives folks a chance to see our cast, including Jay and Danielle White, another great artist who is actually locally from Bradenton, lives out in California now. But all cast members will be singing songs from the movie live in concert on the Riverview Performing Arts Center stage on April 1st. And then after intermission, Jay comes out and does his full-blown Neil Diamond concert. Jay's known the world over as Neil Light. He's the world's #1 Neil Diamond performer. He sold out the Venice Community Center last February, last year, and we're proud to have him as part of our cast, and he's going to headline this great Neil Diamond concert.
Why was Sarasota, Mayaca City, selected, and why the Riverview Performing Arts Center?
Well, the answer to the first part of the question is easy. I mean, after years of traveling with my concert promotions, presenting people as diverse as Ringo and the Beach Boys, B.B. King, and you name it, everybody in between, Willie Nelson. I didn't move here from Ohio with my family to travel. I came here to sleep in my own bed and try to work here on the Suncoast, and the independent feature filmmaking scene is growing leaps and bounds here. So I decided, after an early script I wrote that's going through the Hollywood maze as we speak, took 4.5 years to kind of come of age, so to speak, and I kept writing, and I decided, I'm going to make films right here and help support the film production scene, working with the people like Jeannie Corcoran down at the Sarasota Film Commission, and it was the best decision I made. I have 5 different feature films in various stages of production, and it's my plan, especially now with the Florida state incentives that they've come out with to support independent filmmaking, to produce each and every one of them right here on the Suncoast. And the second part of the question was Riverview.
Yeah, why Riverview?
The cool thing about Riverview's, again, as a concert promoter, working in venues all around the country, including the Van Wezel here and other great places, I found the Riverview Performing Arts Center quite by accident. Somebody said, we were looking to film the climactic concert sequence for the movie, and we just couldn't find the right venue on the date we needed to film, and somebody suggested Riverview, and so I went over there, and I had no idea that there was a state-of-the-art 1,000-seat performing arts center right in our midst, brand new, literally, and so I jumped at the opportunity to work with the principal, Linda Nook, and the rest of the staff to not only film for a day there, and include all their drama students, and indeed, their parents and other students at the school that came and were extras in the movie. And so we thought it was apropos to go back and start the very first concert in the Beautiful Noise tour back at Riverview as a way to say thank you and to help raise some money, not only for our marketing needs to present the film around the world, but especially to slice off some of the profits from the film, from the concert, to support Riverview's drama programs and their Kilty Band and other various programs. So it's just a perfect spot for the show.
Now, you talk about acoustics. We have Van Wezel here. We have, Hollywood 20, which is a movie theater. And then what about the acoustics at Riverview?
They're fantastic. Again, my only experience was filming Jay's concert sequence there to end the movie, and it's just fabulous. Literally, I'm a professional, concert promoter from way back, and I've been in lots of venues, and that place is just one of the finest state-of-the-art facilities for sound and for comfort. They have 700 seats on the floor and 300 up in the balcony, and just state-of-the-art lighting and sound. It's going to be a knockdown, drag-out, barn burner of a show featuring not only Jay and his Diamond Show, but again, cast members singing songs live, original songs from the movie Beautiful Noise.
Now, tickets are on sale now. How do people get tickets?
There's the simplest way is to go online to our film website, which is beautifulnoisethemovie.com, and you can buy your tickets right online. They're only $20 for general admission, and we do have a VIP reserve world premiere of the movie and the concert tour.
Now, how important is the Sarasota Film Festival to you and for our community from April 7th to April 17th?
Well, it's critical for us as independent feature filmmakers. The county and the Film Commission are working extensively to bring Hollywood to Sarasota in terms of filmmaking. It's an industry that's just waiting to explode here in Southwest Florida, and again, because of the state incentives and now some local county incentives, it makes it possible for big studios to come here and literally make films, major feature films here in the Sarasota area. For guys like me, it enables us to create independent entertainment vehicles that people can really respond to, that look, and again, judging by the programmer's excitement of our film, looks as good and sounds as good, especially in our case with the Dolby surround sound. It's a musical after all. For independent features to be showcased, it's quite something for the film festival here to do that. I thought quite frankly, I thought because we shot it here and it turned out so great, we'd at least get one showing, but they just flipped out over it and have given us an unprecedented 6 screenings at the film festival. So the film festival in general is world renowned and is important for this community on many levels. But from an independent film standpoint, especially our company, Midnight Pass Productions, and the slate of films we have coming that will be made here, it's just critically important to be embraced by the community and the film festival.
Now, of course, there are a lot of film fests opening up around the country, and it seems to be that the Sarasota Film Fest is kind of the model for that. I know that it's grown leaps and bounds. I know that right now in the Chicago area, they're talking about bringing about their own as well, which of course is important to filmmakers, myself being an actor and a writer. Now, with the Sarasota Film Festival, what is the exposure at this point?
Well, again, this is our first trip to the Alder, and I can only tell you that the buzz in town and throughout the community, it's important, as I stated earlier, on a lot of levels. For us, it's not only exposing what we can do as a feature film production company here in town, but quite frankly, it helps us showcase a film. I mean, when people see this, Rick, I mean, it looks like we spent a ton of money on this thing. I mean, we've got shots and locations, and especially the sound of this musical looks like we just spent a ton of money. And we did spend a chunk of money, but it looks like a lot more expensive film than it is, and that's only because of the embrace of individuals and especially small businesses here in town that literally all we had to do was ask. They couldn't be more helpful. People like Sarasota Guitar Company or Cosmos 2, from restaurants to Michael's on East, you name it. It's just an endless list. Madison's. It's an endless list of companies, restaurants, hotel chains that were so helpful. We could never have afforded to make this high quality, low budget film here in town and be able to showcase it at the film festival had it not been for the help and support of a wonderful cast and crew, and especially the embrace of the community. It just can't happen. And the more the community gets behind independent feature filmmakers of all kinds, and these great student filmmakers that are coming out of Ringling and State College of Florida, many of whom worked with us on our film. It's just so important to I think the vitality of the community, and especially the art patrons, and how much they mean to all of us trying to showcase our art.
What's it mean to you to have a Gina? What does it mean to you to have a Gina Davis and a Christopher Plummer represent the Sarasota Film Festival this year?
I think it's incredible, and again, it's very humbling for us to see. I mean, I went to the sponsors and press media event they had the other night, where the film festival folks were thanking their sponsors, and just to hear the lineup and to page through the film guide, which is available online at the SarasotaFilmFestival.com, which, by the way, is where you can buy tickets as of today to all the great films being showcased, including Beautiful Noise. And it's just so special to have your name attached. You know, it was a pretty heady experience. I'm going through it, and I see Christopher Plummer and Gina Davis is involved, and you know, we're going to have passes to go to all these different events because we're a filmmaker and a film production company that was accepted into it. So we get exposed to a lot of great people, both on the Hollywood level and on the local level. We're very cognizant of the fact that the local media and the local public embrace of this particular movie at the film festival and beyond is critically important to our chances to see this film throughout the country and perhaps throughout the world. We're going to showcase it at film festivals and special screenings around the world, and because it's a musical and because it's it turned out so great, we're very happy and proud to showcase Sarasota in a different kind of way, and through the gift of song and through cinema, and so we're very excited about that.
Now, in Sarasota recently, wasn't there a big capital investment and like a movie production studio is now here near the airport?
Yes, Sanborn Studios has come to town, and they are working not only with the Film Commission and the county on expanding the opportunities for local crew and folks in town who are, I mean, just like anything else, this Sarasota and the surrounding area is chock full of the most incredibly talented people of all walks of life. But I got to tell you, writers, producers, makeup artists, camera folks, I mean, you've got some of the biggest names in Hollywood that are quietly living here in the community that have to go out of town to go work on feature films, and that's the rub, and that's the kind of thing that events like the Sarasota Film Festival and other interested parties are working tirelessly to do, and that's to try to keep these folks here in town working, here in the state, here on the Suncoast. The executive producer of our film, named Wendy Williams, is a highly sought after producer in Hollywood. She spends about 60 days a year here at her beach house, and the rest of the time she spent producing movies around the world with budgets in excess of $100 million. To have Wendy's name heading up our executive producer list and being the consigliere, so to speak, to help us guide us through this maze of filmmaking, she's just one example of the incredible talent at every level that's here on the Suncoast. So films, I guess if anything, Beautiful Noise stands for a lot of things, but the thing I'm perhaps most proud of is you can make high-quality, low-budget films right here. I can sleep in my own bed as a writer, producer, director. I don't have to go to Tampa, Orlando, Miami, Chicago, New York, L.A. to be a filmmaker. It can happen right here, right now, and our company's leading the way.
So the promise of Sarasota, Florida, being the cultural center of the Florida West Coast, or even the cultural center of Florida, is it going to come to be, you think?
Well, we're already established as a cultural center worldwide, especially in Florida, but I'm working, again, closely. I'm very, at this stage of my life and career, it's very important to me to join hands and with folks at the Sarasota Film Festival and the Jeannie Corcorans at the Film Commission and all those folks who feel as I do that there's no reason that Sarasota can't completely, just from the ground up, organically grow a major film production presence here on the Suncoast. And whether it's smaller productions like mine or the big stuff, the big studios that Jeannie is working with to bring to town to film here in the community, it's going to have tremendous economic and social impact across the board.
I mean, like they have CSI Miami. Why can't they have CSI Sarasota?
Well, believe me, the Sanborn Studios is again, they're bringing in a ton of projects of their own that they're working with, and I think it's just fabulous to have sound stages coming to town and folks that are producing content at that level, like Sanborn's got on their slate. And again, I'm not alone. I mean, I'm just one of the many great filmmakers. I say. I hope we become great. But I know a lot of filmmakers in town that have been doing it a lot longer than I have, that are never get the attention they deserve. And so hopefully films like mine and others that are showcased at the film festival that were locally produced will start waking people up to the fact that, hey, it can be done, it's being done, and get out there and support it. And this concert, which starts, again, a week before our premiere, is just a great way for the community to come together and get a sneak preview of what our Neil Diamond flavored Beautiful Noise movie and concert's all about.
And yeah, actually, Rick, there was a CSI Sarasota. It was Betty White, the late great Betty White. It was an SNL skit that they did. CSI right. Sarasota. What's funny is that statistically, Sarasota is the second most referred to Florida city next to Miami, and that's countrywide. So we're already a popular city to begin with, and such a tight knit community, and a lot of artists, a lot of talented people here.
It wasn't hard for me to find some great quality people at all levels of my small production. It was a cast and crew of about 25 to 30 on a daily basis, which is really kind of sizable for an indie film. I think we set the record on credits for an independent film. I mean, it goes forever because we had so much help from so many people. But it's quite an entertaining movie. I'm very proud of it, and I cannot wait for the community to come and see our cast sing these songs live from the film on April 1st. And then, again, being a Diamond head from way back, as those from Ohio know, Jay's Neil Diamond concert straight out of Vegas, the full-blown deal at the Beautiful Noise live concert. It's certainly worth a $20 Friday night ticket to come out and do a little Sweet Caroline with Jay.
I'm talking with Steve Tatone from Midnight Pass Productions. Who is this Jay White? Why does he do Neil Diamond songs? How did that come to be?
You know what? It's such an interesting story that it's going to take a lot longer. So the readers, than we have here. But the Reader's Digest version is actually going to be filmed. One of the things that Wendy, our exec producer, suggested. I had a film in mind. Again, for you Diamond heads out there, you'll be familiar with the song title. But I've always, getting to know Jay and getting him involved in our film. Even though, by the way, the movie has nothing to do with Neil Diamond's life. It's not, we don't use any of Neil's songs. We do have King Harrison, Neil's longtime friend and conga player of 35 years, co-starring in the film, and he did play on the soundtrack. But other than the term Beautiful Noise, a title of Neil's 76 concept album, and people like Jay, who sound like Neil, and King, who literally, is one degree of separation away from Mr. Diamond. This is not a Neil Diamond story, but it is a musical story with a lot of great songs, original songs, 17 original songs as a matter of fact, and one Free Man in Paris, Joni Mitchell's classic that she read the script and literally gave us to use for this film. But there's a lot of, I got to tell you, there's a lot of Diamond feel to it, and when, I guess my wife saved the day. I was teetering on whether or not to really use a guy that makes his living and sounds like Neil. I mean, the guy sounds like Neil Diamond, period, end of story. And when you see him in person live, third song in, you're lost. I've seen Neil 200 times. This guy, Jay, and that's why Neil's, put his arm around Jay and pointed him out to be his favorite tribute artist, because Jay has got it down. He looks like Neil on stage. Not in my movie. He looks like Jeremiah Johnson in the movie. Some broken down old songwriter trying to find, start his life over again. It's quite an inspirational, rise, fall, and redemption kind of movie with some great songs in it. But the show that Jay puts on, hey, third song in, everybody's on their feet. It's an hour and a half of Diamond hits and performed as if Neil's performing them. My wife saved the day. I almost didn't cast Jay. Because I was afraid that people would say, he's just doing a marketing thing. He's just got some guy that, sounds like Neil. And that's, to make up for the lack of story or something. That's not the case at all. Linda told me that, Jay could sing the phone book. And he's going to sound like Neil. And when King Harrison was in town, I asked King about it. And he said, Steve, hang a lantern on it. The guy can't help, and he's not trying to imitate Neil. I mean, I'm a concert promoter, right, from days long gone, and I never, either Elvis, the guy looks like Elvis but doesn't sound like Elvis, or they look like Dylan but they don't sound like Dylan, or Diamond, or what have you. And Jay is the real deal. So when you hear Jay's songs, including the ones you guys thankfully have been promoting, this thing, you swear it's Neil singing new songs with a new album. So he's quite a performer. We're proud to have him with us. And you don't have to be a Neil Diamond fan to love this concert or this movie. But if you do happen to love all things Diamond, you're going to go crazy when you see our show April 1st.
Now, how does a Jay White take in the Neil Diamond image? You know what I mean?
I started to say, we are literally going to make a documentary of Jay's life. I started to say, I stopped in the middle of it, but the title of the film, one of the films on my slate, is called Play Me, and it's about Jay's life. He almost became a professional hockey goalie and instead ended up being the world's #1 Neil Diamond performer. Believe me, there's a movie in there. I was going to fictionalize it, and Wendy Williams said, no. When we go on tour this summer with the film and the concert, we're going to take all kind of little cameras with us. We're making a documentary because Jay's story is one for the ages.
Now, they told me, Steve, that I'd only have a half hour with you. I don't know if you'll stay over for another segment, will you?
Oh, I'll be glad to. Sure.
All right.
Sure.
For the listeners and the viewers out there, it's 954-1280, 954-1280. If you're watching over the internet at WTMY.com, it's 941-954-1280. You get a chance to talk to Steve Tatone, who's an actual producer of movies. So if you have any questions, specifically or general, to Steve, give us a call over the next 15, 20 minutes. You are listening.
Sorry, Rick. I'm actually going to be playing on the way out. I'm going to play a song called "Come On Strong."
Coming On Strong.
Coming On Strong.
One of the songs from the film from Jay's co-star Kimber Cleveland.
You're listening to Levine